University. Southern sits atop of the SWAC with an 11-1 mark, one of the best runs in program history. Meanwhile, a cluster after Florida A&M for third place on. Hello, everybody. Derek Jones and John Williams with you in a very hot and heavy Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at Southern University. John, when you take a look at this matchup, two of the top teams in the SWAC, bench play of Southern could be a determining factor.
Yeah, Southern is the #1 team in the nation in bench points. Everybody eats on this team, and the reason why is because of their style of play. They're the type of team that takes you up and down the floor, 94 feet, 40 minutes, pressuring you the entire game, and it makes life terrible for you. And the only reason that happens is because they got fresh legs on the floor.
One of the keys in tonight's game for sure will be how Texas Southern can handle that bench of Southern University that has been so dominant throughout the course of the season. But Kevion McClain will try to alleviate some of those issues with his scoring.
Yeah, he leads the team in scoring, 15 field goals, 15 points per game. He leads the team in three-point percentage, assists, minutes. This means that he's the catalyst on this team, and he is going to be needed and necessary in tonight's game to handle the pressure that Southern's going to throw at him.
Southern will try to grab a win here. If they do, it will mean back-to-back 12-season wins in the SWAC. Meanwhile, Texas Southern trying to grab what would be their second win at Southern since 2020. There's been a tough place for Johnny Jones and company to grab victories in. It's a very, very explosive and exciting atmosphere. We had flames during the pregame entrance. And yes, it was very hot here. It was about 100 degrees here for a few seconds. Meanwhile, Texas Southern was greeted with the theme song to Baby Shark.
Yeah, real disrespectful. You like the rivalry. You understand what the ramifications are in this game, and Texas Southern wants to stay in the fight for second place.
Fun atmosphere on tap, and we are underway from the F.G. Clark Activity Center in Avery Johnson Court in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Southern coming in off of a win by 12 against Prairie View A&M on Saturday. And early on, that basketball drifting out of bounds. It'll stay with Southern. Southern this season averaging 76 points per game. Defensively, that is where they have made their bones in terms of forcing turnovers of the opposition. The three is up. That is missed. But an offensive rebound and a new possession. Working hard down low, but missing the shot is Damari Jones. Back the other way come the Tigers of Texas Southern. Jackson Posey, Hunter, McClain, Granger, and Farouk, the five for Johnny Jones.
Yeah, Kenny Hunter's going to have himself a really good game, impacting the post play to offset what Southern throws at him on the defensive end. And so he's going to be a big-time alleviator, being that relief valve in the post area.
So a turnover early from Texas Southern. And when you talk about turnovers, that's something that Southern is able to do, turn over the opposition effectively. 15 times per game this season, they're able to force turnovers of the opponent.
Well, their defense is their offense. What they do is they apply pressure, turn you over, get into the open floor, try to get high percentage shots.
The follow is in from Jones. So Jones, coming off an 11-point performance on Saturday, opens up the scoring as the fans can finally be seated as Southern grabs a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Damari Jones, unmatched motor, plays extremely hard above the rim.
Long miss off the three by Colby Granger into the hands of the Jaguars. Pump fake. Good contest down low defensively as DJ Thomas could not come up with the bucket. Kevin Johnson, the head coach at Southern University, we talked to him earlier today. He knows his team is playing well, but there are some things he wants to see them improve on, including free throw shooting.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have a team that puts a ton of pressure on the paint from the offensive end, you're going to get to the free throw line. And when you get to that free throw line, those points matter. They start to stack up. And when you miss more and more, it can change the outcome of a game.
Early 2-0 lead for Southern. 5 seconds to shoot. The corner three, missing off the rim, out of the hands of Jackson Posey. The rebound controlled by Southern. Southern not shy about shooting it from deep. Let's see what their MO is here tonight. Jones with the baseline J, and it is out of bounds and off to Texas Southern. One word we heard from both coaches tonight, John, is tempo, and that is one thing that Johnny Jones talked about.
Yeah, he likes his guys to get up and down the floor as quickly as possible, but he doesn't mind playing in the half court because he has positional size that can get a mismatch in those situations, and so he doesn't mind the half court, but wants to run, get things easy, high percentage, and then run their stuff.
The jumper is in from Joe Manning. So Manning, a name that is on the scout for sure for Texas Southern for his ability to knock down threes. Gets it started from two. As Granger right back to it with the first bucket of the game for Texas Southern.
And back and forth we go. One thing Manning does is not only shoot that three, he can get downhill and create. One of the primary ball handlers for Southern. And Granger is the glue guy, the Swiss Army knife. Doesn't have to score every single game, but sees the opportunities given to him from the defense.
Thomas, working hard down low, is able to draw the foul, and he'll go to the line for a pair of free throws.
Yeah, and that is actually a strategy for Southern to go at Hunter, who is one of the top defenders in the league. Shot blocker, alterer, and so they're going to use guys to go at him, try to draw fouls, get him out of the game, and then they can start to impact the boards even more.
DeAndre Thomas misses the first free throw. His teammates call him DT. Typically because his name is too hard to pronounce.
Yeah, DeAndre, but there's a lot of H's.
Thomas is second, gets 1 out of 2. As a team, mentioned free throw shooting earlier, Southern 65% on the year from the stripe. If they want to win the SWAC, they might need to clean that up at some point.
Well, everybody knows how the SWAC is, especially once tournament play goes. Everything tightens up. Every point, every possession, every little thing matters, and free throws could be a differentiator of winning a championship and losing one.
Southern 11th in the SWAC from the line, and that's been a problem for them this season. They get to the line a lot.
They get there
about 23 times per game, but once they get there, that's been the issue. Off the miss, tipped around, controlled by Granger. New life for Texas Southern. The three missed by McClain, and now a loose ball foul coming up as Texas Southern will maintain possession when we come back. Southern with the early 3-point lead from Baton Rouge. Southern are among the names that come to mind. Southern, though, outstanding start for them. They're in first place, John. They started out 10-0 in league play.
Yeah, and we can talk about their non-conference, too. They came up with some really big wins. Got a win in the American against Tulsa, Conference USA against Louisiana Tech. I mean, they've got the makings of a really special team.
And we talked about it at the top. The bench scoring leads all of Division I college basketball, averaging nearly 40 points per game. They were excellent again on Saturday against Prairie View A&M, outscoring them 45-18 in bench scoring, leading to the 12-point win.
Yeah, the amount of intensity they threw on Prairie View, it's only a matter of time. Prairie View's a really good defensive team.
McClain trying to cook. Great feed down low, and the dunk by Kenny Hunter.
Yeah, that's one thing McClain does. Even though he's about 5'10", he demands attention from the secondary defender, and he was able to get Kenny Hunter there.
Derek Jones and John Williams with you tonight, as two of the top teams in the SWAC meeting head on. 8 seconds to shoot. Three ball up. That rattles in for Michael Jacobs. So Michael Jacobs, the team's leading scorer by a whisker. It's a team that doesn't have a double-digit score.
Where is he, at 9.9?
He's at 9.9 exactly coming in.
Yeah, he's not necessarily a three-point shooter. He's a scorer. He's a guy that can get to the middle of the floor, has a bag on him that can really get him downhill and score.
Farouk fires up an air ball. And a steal. The lob for Granger, who throws it down.
Yeah, Granger showing the athleticism, and he caused that turnover due to his defense, and then was able to be rewarded with the alley-oop dunk.
Granger had a stat stuffer kind of day in Texas Southern's win over Grambling State. 4 points, 10 rebounds, another steal. Hunter down the floor, got hit on the way up, and Hunter will go to the line with a pair of free throws.
Yeah, great steal there. Great find here from Kavion McClain to Hunter. And again, Kavion McClain to Granger. Nice alley-oop dunk. Oh yeah, wrapped around him, almost megged him.
The first from Hunter is no good. Mention the free throw shooting of Southern. Texas Southern, conversely, they're the top team in the SWAC from the free throw line. 72% on the year. 1 out of 2 for Hunter. One-point lead for Southern. Jacobs swings it. Wing three missing. Tracked down inside, and that basketball heads out of bounds. Heavy contact leading to a foul.
Yeah, you could see that Dubois was on his trek to trying to create a poster there from Kenny Hunter, but at the same time, Hunter was just like, no, you gotta check that up. Finish it up at the free throw line.
So P.J. DeBoyle will head to the line off the second foul against Kenny Hunter, and that's notable because Hunter is the top rebounder for Texas Southern, and that may impact how they operate down low.
Well, he impacts the paint area from a defensive standpoint in so many facets, not only blocking shots, not only altering shots, not only getting the defensive rebound to limit that team to one and done. When he's out of the game, it opens up the floodgates for all those other opportunities.
Pressure picked up in the backcourt. Zaire Hayes able to break it ahead to McClain. McClain, good feet inside, and then a swat by DeBoyle. Kept alive for a moment by Hayes. No look feed to Granger, and he is fouled. Frenetic play that will send Granger to the stripe.
Yeah, that seemed like an extremely stressful play for Texas Southern, but kept it alive and found a way to get to the free throw line after taking Southern's first punch.
Brente Noel picks up the foul. That's his second. So bigs on both sides in early foul trouble in this game as Granger sinks the first free throw.
What I will say that foul trouble for Southern is the reason why you have to have a deep bench. That's why you got to play 10, 11 guys, because if somebody gets in foul trouble, it has to be the next man up mentality.
Noel stays in with the 2 fouls. Derek Tezano is into the game. Off the glass with a shot, no good from Ambori. Back to work. Go the Tigers. 8-4 on the year in the SWAC. Half a game back of second place Florida A&M. Off to steal. And that pass wide of Ambori. Back over to Texas Southern, the 3rd turnover committed.
And this is why Southern wants to get out in the open floor. You see how matched they are against Texas Southern. They're pretty equal there in the half court. It slows them down, takes them out of their rhythm.
Hayes goes to McClain. Approaching 8 minutes into the contest. McClain, Rainmaker 3, rims out. There's Tezano with the rebound. Jacobs off the window and 1.
See what I mean about Jacobs being that downhill guy. Can get all the way to the basket, and it's because of his size and stature. Strong, uses his body, absorbs the contact, draws the foul. Now he's on the line. Big finish. Absolutely. You see that Texas Southern is depending heavily on 7 players, while Southern has already went through 10 players, and they're going to go more. It'll be like 12 to 13. And it's sometimes even more if it's just all based off of the situations. Coach Johnson utilizes his bench to the best of their ability, and the good thing is that there's not a drop-off. He's put those guys in a fire early in the season, and all of them know how to work in high-pressure situations.
As Johnny Jones knows what it takes to get to the dance in March. His team no stranger to success late in the season, as Jacobs is able to knock down the free throw to finish off the 3-point play. 5-point lead. Southern has been hot after a slow start offensively. They missed on 6 of their first 7 from the field, good on 3 of their last 5. Good look down low, the dunk off the feed by Granger. Dwayne Posey with the hammer.
That's one thing Coach Johnny Jones talked about, is withstanding that punch, that pressure that Southern throws at them. And if they can do that, they'll give themselves high percentage shots at the basket. And right there, you got to see that dunk.
McClain has his pass deflected and stolen. Gets it ahead. And now there'll be a foul coming up here. It'll be charged to Josh Farmer.
See this ball movement, warding the pressure, moving the ball down the rainbow. You see Posey with the poster dunk down there. Beautiful.
Colby Granger picking up the foul for Texas Southern. There'll be a side out here coming up for Southern. On the drive, the flip with the right hand, no good, as A.J. Barnes could not convert inside. Three-point advantage thus far for Southern. The baseline jumper drops for Hayes and 1. Three-point play opportunity on the way for Zaire Hayes.
Zaire Hayes playing with a ton of emotion, a ton of energy. I mean, honestly, I feel that Southern puts you in that type of mindset where you got to give everything you got if you want to stay in this game. But that's a beautiful pull-up from the mid-range for him. It's also a floor spreader for them. One of their scores.
And Hayes able to tie the game up at 13. Good pace back and forth thus far to start out. Two of the more up-tempo teams in the SWAC. Jordan Johnson having trouble with the handle momentarily. 7 to shoot for Joe Manning. Manning launches. Almost got it to bank in, but kept alive with a new possession. Johnson's three is good. Jordan Johnson, the leading marksman for this team, gives Southern a 3-point lead.
Yeah, Jordan Johnson in a situation there where he doesn't get that three-pointer unless an offensive rebound is had. And you got to see how hard Southern was fighting for that second chance, and it led to an easy three for Jordan Johnson.
5th turnover of the game committed by Texas Southern, as Southern, again, part of their dossier heading into the season in SWAC play, forcing turnovers of the opposition. That has continued. Now 5 turnovers here for the Tigers. Nearly one as Manning loses the basketball. Now he does. Bryce Roberts on the move. He gets blocked out of bounds. And it'll be a foul coming up here on A.J. Barnes.
Yeah, and that whole possession was based off of Granger's defense, which led to an easy layup. Obviously, there's a foul there.
Good rundown, but Barnes unable to stay away from committing the foul as Roberts drops in the first free throw. He gets both. The Tigers staying in step with Southern so far as that ball out of bounds, popped up by Southern.
Yeah, a little extracurricular there. Joe Manning lost the ball 4 seconds. Hayes kind of bumped him. I think that was accidental. But the crowd let him know you're too small. The bench over there, the Texas Southern bench let him know you're too little.
We're going to have a discussion about the too little discourse that's going on in college basketball.
Yeah, because sometimes it's not necessary.
Roberts off the miss. The rebound taken by Jones. Nunley flashing in. Jones throws it up and it rims in.
Yeah, Damari Jones plays with so much energy, so much effort. Even though he's skinny strong, man. He uses his body the right way out there.
Nunley nearly picking the pocket of Roberts. The three is short for Hayes. Manning creating some space, has his shot blocked by Granger. Now ahead to Granger, 1-on-2, spins, goes up, stripped.
Yeah, there's a nice back and forth going between Manning and Granger. But Granger has taken on the personal assignment of going at him. You see here, Jones finishing that big finish there. And Manning getting the block from Granger. You definitely see it's a little energy going on in here.
Off the miss. Southern going to work on offense. Jacobs feeds Barnes. Into the corner for Nunley. Missed the three. Jones tips it back outside.
Talk about the offensive rebounds, how they start to tally up. There's more possessions for Southern. Those possessions give them the opportunity to get into an offensive rhythm.
Johnson closed out on. Attacks. And he is fouled. Posey was able to block the basketball, but a foul beforehand. As we go to a stop on the floor. 3-point lead for Southern University. The SWAC leaders of Southern University taking on Texas Southern, and Texas Southern coming in having lost 3 of their last 4 games. Close outings, but have struggled as of late. They got back in the win column on Saturday against Grambling State, as Jordan Johnson gets the first free throw. You got the sense from talking to Johnny Jones that he wasn't that concerned with what was going on, because those are close games that could have gone either way.
Yeah, they were within 6 points, 3 points, 2 points. They were all close games where it could have been one way or the other. So sometimes you just lose those types of games, and you got to be okay with what you're doing, because it leads to winning habits and consistency.
They'll need less of that, turning it over. Johnson's three misses. Loose. Barnes right there to clean it up.
Yeah, Barnes using that size, cleaning up the glass.
7-point lead for Southern. Largest advantage of the night. Another turnover. Nunley feeding for Jacobs, who nearly coughs it up, but he's able to keep it alive. And possession will go back over to Southern.
And we talked about the importance of getting on those boards, especially Texas Southern on the defensive side. You see Nunley, who is 5'10" out there, creating an opportunity for Barnes to get him a second chance point.
And Borey got hit on the shot attempt, and that will be a foul picked up by Kavion McLean.
It's going to be his first. Team 6. At the line shooting 2 is number 3, Cam Ambery.
So Ambery at the line for a couple, and you get the feel of what's happening with this Southern team. Just a few moments ago, they subbed in 4 new players.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of teams that are able to go that deep into the bench and feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, like we talked about in the open, fresh legs mean everything. And so if you're going against the same 7 or 8, and you've got 12 different guys out there already, they're coming with energy every time they come out. They're getting the breaks they need, the hydration they need, and it's competitive for them. I want to get a stop in this next 4 minutes more than my teammates do.
Omar Caresi lost the ball. And then right back down, Southern turns it over in their own regard. And Texas Southern will get new life. Down by 8. This has been a very difficult first half of basketball for Texas Southern shooting. At the last media timeout, they were just at 27% from the field. As now Jalen Jackson Posey will head off. And he is limping back towards the bench area. And the junior will get a breather.
Yeah, that's no good. He's one of those guys that can spread the floor for Texas Southern.
Another turnover forced. Long three by Ambery is missed. Farouk with the loose change in the lane. Seven straight here scored by Southern as Granger off the miss gives Southern another possession. Turnaround shot up off the left side of the rim, and Granger's there for the rebound. McLean. Shake and bake time. Swings a pass hot inside, but it gets blocked at the rim.
Yeah, McReed coming out of nowhere.
The finish inside by Tesano. Good team basketball by Southern University to build a 10-point lead. And John, defense turning to offense for Southern.
Absolutely. You see McReed coming out of the fray, cleaning up the glass, and starting a fast break for Southern, where Tesano finishes at the rim.
9 straight for the Jaguars. See a team shoot 33% in the first half and be up by 10, but Southern has held Texas Southern to 25% shooting from the field and also forced 9 turnovers. Texas Southern has not scored in 4.5 minutes.
It is the activity, the force, a little bit of violence that Southern presents every time they defend. It's just a heat that comes out. And you can see the pressure that it puts on Texas Southern.
Granger right there with the follow after the long 2 miss by McClain. And that stops the 9-0 run for Southern.
Well, Granger's been one of those guys that has been able to alleviate some of the pressure from scoring from time to time. Most of the time it's been through his defense.
Tezeno with the kick outside. 5 seconds to shoot. Jacobs moves, gets down to the rim and scores. That's got to be frustrating for Texas Southern as Michael Jacobs looked like he was going to be up against it there, gets the bucket.
Yeah, he can be a cheat code. Thought Texas Southern did everything right there, but still found a way to get to that sweet spot and score.
Dwayne Posey with the finish. Is the lead at 8 for Southern with just under 4 minutes left to go in half one. The Boyle, nice feed down low to Malachi McReed. McReed, another weapon off the bench.
Yeah, he provides a ton of energy. The first thing I saw when I watched him play in several games is I was like, he's a dog, man. He just plays extremely hard. He's on the right team. This is a perfect fit for him.
The soft floater by McClain to make it an 8-point game again. The Boyle lights it up from deep.
Yeah, that's a big shot.
11-point advantage for Southern University. McClain's floater a little bit too strong. DeBoyle with the rebound.
Yeah, I'll say this, Southern's done a really good job on McClain.
Tezeno's 3 bounces in, and the lead balloons to 14.
Yeah, if you look on paper, Tezeno is one of the top percentages in 3-point shooting, but he doesn't take many of them. That's not his game. But he occasionally will take one from time to time. When he does, he sometimes makes them.
McClain, that pass intercepted. Jacobs into the lane, taking it right to the Texas Southern defense, and one for Michael Jacobs. Whoa.
And you see why Michael Jacobs is one of those guys. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, strong as an ox, does whatever it takes to put the ball in the basket, and he has been fantastic for Southern.
And John, this is getting away clearly from Texas Southern, and a big part of it is that they're not taking care of the basketball.
Yeah, and we talked to Johnny Jones about that as far as just one thing that they have to do is be able to show their ability to handle the pressure that Southern throws at them, and they haven't been able to do that so far. And it wasn't the entire half. It was probably a 3-minute stretch where Southern was able to get into their comfort zone, get in the open floor, get easy baskets, and those easy baskets happen from the defensive pressure that they put on Texas Southern.
A 22-6 run right now for Southern has built this lead to 17. McClain into the corner. That 3 is in from Zatarius Mortal.
Yeah, Zatarius Mortal coming in and bringing some big minutes, trying to just take a little bit of that pressure off from the offensive end, because it's been really tough for Texas Southern to put the ball in the basket, partly because of Southern, but also because of Kenny Hunter's on the bench, man. He's one of those those rebounders that could have helped them with second chance opportunities.
Mortal gets the long Johnson miss. Just over a minute left to go. First half dominated by Southern. McLean threw it away, and now a 2-on-1 that it is fumbled out of bounds, and it will stay with Southern.
If you look at the amount of pressure they were putting on Kavion McLean, I mean, it was stifling. Like, I'm telling you, they emit a type of aura. Southern emits an aura that is just terrifying when they get in you.
Jaguars, Tiger Basketball.
Johnson turns it over off the pass that was out of bounds. 52.3 left to go. 14-point advantage for Southern. And Roberts has a tough assignment trying to deal with Nunley, who
is a dog, man.
He's one of the best in the SWAC at stealing the basketball.
Yeah, he gets under you. He's fast. He's strong. He stays in your bubble. Like your personal space, he's in there. He's nose to nose with you.
Granger feeds the post. The tie-up by Jones. And Jones not letting go, holding his ground with Posey. And they have a confab about it that has to be broken up. You are fired up.
Hey, listen, I just like the defensive intensity. I also like the fact that he was just like, I'm not giving up the ball. Because at this point, Texas Southern needs something. They need some type of energy. And Posey's like, I'm keeping the ball.
They've got John Williams on his feet here.
I said that.
With how hard they're playing defensively. 7 seconds to shoot. Mortal will pop it from deep. It's an air ball. Southern can hold for the final shot if they want to. Nunley gets a flyby, spins to the rim. Johnson will try it. No good. And a foul coming up on the rebound attempt as Barnes was working down low. And he will pick up the whistle.
Foul charge on number 12.
So Barnes picking up the whistle, and this has been one of the slight issues for Southern in this half. A little foul trouble, but they've been able to build a 14-point lead nonetheless, as Barnes and his teammates get a breather for a moment with 12.7 seconds left to go in the first half. We'll take a break from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and close out half one in a moment. Will be Duke and Louisville in action on Thursday nights. And how about the bench for Southern delivering yet again? So Southern has 26 points off the bench. Texas Southern just 24 in this first half. 5 seconds left. Roberts trying to find some room. Fires a jumper and gets it to drop. Bryce Roberts closes out the first half on a positive note for Texas Southern.
Yeah, but that doesn't lead to consistent basketball. You saw how hard he had to fight for that basket. Texas Southern's going to have to make some adjustments at halftime and really have to focus on what they need to do to win this game.
Texas Southern and their defense dominating the first half here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. More from Baton Rouge in a moment. Leads Texas Southern by 12. The Southern women's bowling team was just honored. They have won 3 straight SWAC regular season titles. They actually got the rings for last year's SWAC championship just a few moments ago. The SWAC bowling championship will be settled up in late March. Southern women's team will try to head to the NCAA tournament.
Yo, Stewie, winner takes.
Halftime is just about in the books. Southern leads it 38-26 over Texas Southern. Second half action on the way in just a moment. Hello, everybody. Derek Jones and John Williams with you tonight. And John, in the first half, Southern was just sensational at doing just a little bit of everything to throw off Texas Southern.
Yeah, they played with force. They played with intensity, aggression, a little bit of violence. I liked it. They gave Texas Southern everything they could handle as far as on the defensive end, but also on the boards, getting second chance opportunities. And that's where they made their money, by getting more opportunities, possessions at the basket to get themselves into an offensive rhythm and to shoot at a better percentage. And that comes with Southern just doing it on the defensive end. Their defense led to their offense. You see there, Malachi Reed creating an open floor situation for his teammates. Tezino finishing at the basket, and all those were due to the defensive intensity from Southern.
Bench points, a big storyline heading in. Southern, the #1 team in the country in bench scoring, averaging 39 points per game in that category. 26 so far tonight, but the number of note, 9 steals. They average 9 per game. They're already at that in the first half.
The one thing Coach Johnson emphasized on in shoot-around today was, since Texas Southern is a bigger team, they may not get as many rebounds as they're accustomed to, even though they are out-rebounding them. But one thing he wanted them to focus on was trying to see if they could get steals so that they could get their fast break started in that regard instead of the defensive rebound.
DeAndre Thomas opens up the scoring in the second half. Southern was led by Michael Jacobs in the first half with 11. Nunley off the steal is fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2. So again, the turnovers continuing to haunt this Texas Southern team.
Yeah, the amount of intensity and force you see from Nunley there, just making it tough for McClain to get anything going. Right now, I mean, he hasn't been able to get himself into an offensive rhythm, and he is the head of the snake for Texas Southern.
No doubt about it. Texas native drops the first, and he is such a spark plug, so much energy in every movement he makes out there on the floor, and that makes him a tough assignment on both sides.
Absolutely, and I think that Southern recognizes that. That's the ultimate respect, the amount of pressure, and they are not giving him any space. He's been guarded from the parking lot the entire night, and that is respect, because they know what he's capable of doing if he gets himself going.
4 straight to open the half for Southern. Farouk. Hunter back out on the floor after picking up the 2 quick fouls in the first half. Farouk inside, passed up an opportunity there and ended up throwing it away.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where the one more should have been one less. That's his shot right there. So back at Granger. Granger was out there getting ready for the rebound because he thought the shot was happening.
No question. Thomas underneath of Hunter, and Hunter gets the stop. And the Tigers try to get something going here offensively after back-to-back possessions with turnovers. A Farouk 3 misses, tipped by Granger, taken away by Johnson and the Jaguars.
You see that Southern is trying to make it a point of emphasis to go to Thomas, try to see if they can go at KJ Hunter.
Inside for Thomas, had the ball knocked away from him. So 14 seconds to shoot for Southern. Inside pass to Johnson, missed it wildly, and it is Hunter who is fouled after getting the board as Johnson pleads his case.
It's going to be his first, team's first.
But to no avail.
Yeah, one thing that Texas Southern is going to have to do is try to find ways to get Kenny Hunter involved. Obviously, with him going out so early in the first half, he hasn't been able to get any touches, hasn't been able to get himself going, and he's one of those guys that can be a separator for Texas Southern.
Another turnover as Nunley now falling to the floor. The battle still raging on down low, and let's see. There will be a jump ball. The possession arrow works in favor of Texas Southern. And it just looks like, John, tonight Texas Southern a step or two off every time they have to make a pass. Nothing has been easy for them on the offensive side.
That step or two off is because they're being sped up by the defensive intensity of Southern. They've done a really good job.
Thomas gets a defensive rebound, and that leads to a foul, which will be against Kenny Hunter, and that's number 3 on Hunter.
You can see Johnny Jones is not liking that, and for good reason. You know, he hasn't played, had a lot of minutes out there on the floor due to the foul trouble that he was in that first half, and if he has to go out in the second half, you might have to just live with it and let him get out there and stay in a rhythm.
10 to shoot for Southern. Johnson, straight on 3. Money.
That was a great offensive set for Jordan Johnson, who was able to get his feet squared, knock down a high percentage shot.
7 straight points to open up half 2 for Southern.
And you can see Jordan Johnson coming off of a pound screen, knocking down that 3. One thing John Jones was talking about was meeting guys like Johnson, like Manning on the catch, because they are so lethal from that perimeter.
Johnson entered the game with 52 made threes. He's got a couple tonight. They break the pressure. Jones. Now Manning gets underneath. And Manning turns it over and back over to Texas Southern.
And Manning is a little frustrated in today's game offensively. Wonder, you know, that mask may have something to do with it. I played with a mask my senior year, and sometimes the vision and timing of catching and dribbling could mess you up a little bit.
And how uncomfortable is that?
It's terribly uncomfortable. It's hot. It gets steamy in there.
Granger on the attack, and Granger will earn a trip to the line.
Charge on number 1 for the Jaguars. It's going to be his.
And if you're Texas Southern, you need a lot more of that if you're going to try to get back into this game. They have not been able to generate anything from the three-point line.
Yeah, nor do they need to. I think they need to get into the paint and see if they can get stop clock and free throws.
Our NBA Friday doubleheader has Jalen Brunson and the Knicks in Cleveland to take on Donovan Mitchell. And the Eastern tips off our coverage at 6:30 Eastern as the NBA coming back after the All-Star break. Granger coming up and taking the basketball away. McClain will pull and hit.
Yeah, you talk about Kobe Granger's value on this team. I mean, he's just been one of the few bright spots for Texas Southern, especially on the defensive end.
Nunley lost the ball. Pull up by McClain. That's good. So the rally here by Texas Southern created by defense, 6 in a row. Nunley having trouble, loses it again. McClain. Now Granger. He hits the jumper. What a rally here by Texas Southern. All of a sudden, They get 8 straight, and that has fired up the Tigers here, who are all of a sudden sneaking back into this game.
Yeah, Granger has been the catalyst of this defensive stint that Texas Southern has been able to create, and now they're getting themselves some momentum.
The pressure on defense.
Yeah, giving Southern a taste of their own medicine. Start with Granger, creating a turnover, and then you got to see McClain get himself into a rhythm with 2 straight. And it started with, we talked about it, like Granger's involved in all of these. And it's become, I think, something of a trend with Texas Southern, and I understand why he starts on most of these games. He might not score all their points, but one thing he does do is bring the energy, the intensity, and I think it's starting to catch wind for the rest of the Texas Southern Tigers.
8 straight points in the last 49 seconds. More pressure ahead to DeBoyle, who quickly catches and shoots. And he's able to get the jumper. Not necessarily the prettiest of possessions, but 2 nonetheless. So that stops the 8-0 run. McClain. And the shot clock did not reset. So that will have to get taken care of.
One thing that Southern has to be mindful of is Kavion McClain seeing the ball go in the basket finally. At the first half, he got a handful of looks. They just rimmed out. It's like now he's missed a few. A couple of them went in. He understands now.
He will try to get this Texas Southern offense going. It's a 13-point game as Southern tries to hold on to this lead early on in the second half. It's time to take a look at Black History Always, the Southern University Marching Band performing at another Super Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana. 2 Sundays ago, the Human Jukebox providing a tremendous entertainment experience to those in attendance to see the Philadelphia Eagles defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. And John, that band, it's a historic band. It's a band that is no stranger to performing at Super Bowls.
You know how long I've been waiting to see them?
You're very excited to see them.
Man, it's been a blast just watching them get after it. They've been fantastic.
As you should be.
Yeah.
They are awesome.
I mean, I've got I feel like my camera's going to run out of space in a little bit. I've done every segment. It's been a blast just watching them get after it.
Oh, no doubt about it. And it's an honor to be here with them in the building tonight at the F.G. Clark Activity Center. Jacobs trying to toss it in, and that pass is deflected out of bounds. Stays with Southern. Kevin Johnson in his 2nd year at Southern University, hoping that his team could make a run in the SWAC tournament come March. Jacobs, who had 11 points in the first half. DeBoyle driving, fumbled the ball, and it's controlled by Farouk. You're just joining us. Texas Southern has not led in this game. It's been all Southern, but the Tigers trying to make a push back. Farouk down low. Can't clean it up, out of bounds. It will stay with Texas Southern.
And that's where Kenny Hunter provides a great service. I mean, he demands attention. Even if he doesn't get a hand on the ball, or even if he doesn't get the rebound, he demands a big blocking him out, which opens up opportunities for the other guys on the team.
Tezano will get a rest. Inbounded to Farouk. Nearly 6 minutes in. Second half, 13-point lead as McClain tries it and knocks it down.
It's only a matter of time, what we talked about. Started seeing it go in. One thing we also noticed is that his percentages go up in the second half.
Trying to save it is Ambery, and now it's stolen. The run out and the hammer. Mortal with the flush.
He's done better, I promise you.
If you are new to John Williams, he has a high acclaim for dunks, and he has a high standard for dunks.
I do. You might not hear anything from me if it's minimum wage.
Jacobs double team near midcourt. Embry down low. Jones in deep trouble. Tries to throw it off of Granger. It's stolen by the Tigers. 12-2 run for Texas Southern. McLean misses a three. Hunter flies in. And if that is on Hunter, that is his fourth foul.
Yeah, and that's no good for Kenny Hunter. I mean, I thought it was a 50-50 ball, to be honest with you.
He just went in and tried to grab the basketball, but instead it's his fourth foul.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And Jacobs, or check that, excuse me, Barnes just loses the ball out of bounds, bringing it back down the floor. So Southern has cracked the door open here for Texas Southern to get back into this game.
We talked about the impact that Kenny Hunter provides in that paint area. Also, Southern doesn't have a trek towards the basket as easy to go get the finish. And so now you lose that. You lose the defensive rebounding, the offensive rebounding. And you lose the defensive shot blocker and alterer at the basket.
Offensive rebound. McLean from deep. No good. Ball still loose. Diving on the floor was Farouk. And a tie-up. And it looks like he was able to call a timeout there.
Look at
in the process.
You see the urgency for the Texas Southern doing everything they can to earn those possessions.
Gatorade, the world's most superior sports drink, designed to rehydrate, replenish, and refuel. It fuels the best because it is the best. Gatorade, is it in you?
Today we celebrate the young, black, and fearless. Whether you are a creator, a storyteller, a motivator, or an activist, you are a change maker, and the future is yours. Be bold, drive change.
That was a new car, huh? Yep. Big L. Ellie? You called for a big L, so now she's serving. Get it, girl.
His team can make a charge, and John, his team has turned up the intensity here tenfold.
Well, he's done a good job of managing his personnel. You notice he doesn't nearly as many players as Southern does, and that's for design. I mean, he knows what he has. So he's had to find ways to manage his legs, and now they're going all out and putting pressure on Southern, giving them a taste of their own medicine.
And Southern's had a hard time dealing with this pressure. Jacobs. The feed for Jones. Jones unable to complete that pass as Granger is knocked out of bounds. And that will be a foul against Southern. So again, that pressure, it doesn't get him in the backcourt, it's getting him into the front court.
Yeah, you could see Posey did a good job of staying vertical there. Granger absorbing the contact, doing a nice little wily veteran move of letting the referee know I got hit a little bit. And creating a foul on the other end.
And that's the third foul on Damari Jones. McLean, who's been a big part of the comeback, can't collect two there. And Jacobs is fouled. Farouk all over him there. So that's number 2 on Farouk.
Yeah. Coach John Jones is bringing Farouk out, not because he got his second foul. I mean, it's the second half. More of the intensity behind the blows. It looked like it could go a different place at some point. And so that's what we talk about, managing personnel.
Jacobs right down the middle. The pass to Tezino. Leads to a foul here as Tezino will go to the line.
Yeah, that second time around, Southern did a really good job of breaking that pressure, getting themselves into a situation. You can break the press. It's a fast break for you.
Tezino with the face mask puts in the free throw. Two of the top teams in the ACC highlight our ESPN2 Thursday night women's basketball schedule as number 11 Duke hosts Louisville at Cameron Indoor. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern. The game also is available on the ESPN app.
Have you noticed that a handful of Southern players got the face masks on?
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's symbolic of something?
It's because they're about that action.
Reverse layup by Posey, and he gets hit. And Dwayne Posey will head to the stripe.
Yeah, Posey on a nice cut there, trying to finish on the other side. Got a little clip on the face there from Thomas.
So the infraction by Thomas sends Posey to the line. This is always a homecoming of sorts for head coach Johnny Jones of Texas Southern. He played at LSU, and of course he later went on to be the head coach at LSU. And he's had so much success here at Texas Southern. When you go back and look at the recent history of regular season champions in the SWAC, their runs have ended, and in part because of Texas Southern. Texas Southern has been the team that has been able to march on through 5 of the last 7 NCAA tournaments. As the layup on the other end is good by Jordan Johnson.
Yeah, Coach Jones is one of those guys you can't take for granted, especially during tournament time. You know, you look at his teams during conference play, and everybody, all the coaches respect him. They know that this isn't Texas Southern's final form.
McClain with a rainmaker 3. That misses. Tezino is fouled.
Foul charge number 12 for the Tigers. It's going to be his first.
So it'll be another foul here collected by Texas Southern.
That was a beautiful finish there from Jordan Johnson, finding a way to kind of contort his body.
Thomas feeling the pressure. They've got to get it ahead. Nunley is able to beat the 10-second count. Johnson 3, no good. Thomas with a rebound. Thomas down low. His flip is off the mark, and a loose ball. And a foul coming up here against Southern.
You see that second chance opportunity that Southern got. Thomas crashing the boards. We talk about Texas Southern missing one of their key focal points in the paint area, and Kenny Hunter. We haven't seen Grayson Carter at all.
He is not been a part of it tonight.
He is in street clothes.
McClain trying to cross up Nunley. What a matchup this is. Posey down to 10 seconds to shoot. Granger able to collect the ball. Double team with 5 to shoot. Swings a pass down low, off the window and in for Josh Farmer. But another foul.
Let's look at the patience here and the steadiness of Granger. With the shot clock going down, the hit. Farmer with a bullseye finish.
A frustrating sequence, though, for Farmer because he gets the bucket and the foul that leads to a 1-and-1. Already with 9:50 left, and Jacobs does not get the free throw. Instead, we'll have a foul on the other end of that, picked up by Malachi McReed. So it has become a foul party here over the last few minutes.
I'll tell you right now, I know McClain's trying to go at Nunley. You might need a couple ball screens, dog. You can't take him 1v1. That man's a dog down there.
Mortal. And an offensive foul called against Farmer, setting an illegal screen. So Farmer picks up 2 quick fouls. He heads out. Head to Nunley. By the way, both teams will be in the bonus moving forward. Jacobs. And a bump as McReed was trying to do business. And he'll head to the stripe.
That's on Farouk. That's his third.
So Farouk picks up the foul. That's his third. And McReed visits the line to try to give his team a 10-point lead. A miss by McReed and a rebound collected by Texas Southern.
These are pivotal points of the game where if you are Southern, you try to put away Texas Southern, get back to that comfortable lead, you have to be able to knock down those free throws.
It'll be a double bonus for Southern after the next Texas Southern foul as Granger hits a 3 and then jaws with Tezeno after he cuts it to a 6-point game.
Can't scream at a man in a mask.
The deflection off the McReed pass. Mortal hangs in the air. No good on the shot, but 2 from the line coming up.
Terrius Mortal and his element of fast pace, being able to create turnovers. Look at this 3-ball from Granger. I mean, just created a little bit of space off of Tezeno, gave him a little bump. Tezeno clapped at him, so I understand why he had to make a look at him right quick. And then you see here, defense leading to another offensive possession for Texas Southern, where Mortal now is getting to the free throw line for 2.
And John, how about the ability of Texas Southern to capitalize off of these mistakes by Southern? It was a 10-2 edge in the second half at one point, points off of turnovers in favor of Texas Southern.
Exactly. I mean, they've been able to kind of turn the tables here and start to create turnovers on their own and get themselves opportunity, but also they're stopping the clock, knowing that Southern isn't a great free throw shooting team, wanting to put them on the line, it seems like, and watching them miss those free throws during crunch time as the pressure surmounts.
And just getting the inbounds play in, tough right there is Granger, who has really turned it on for Texas Southern. Almost coming up with a steal that leads us to a stop on the floor. And all of a sudden, a 19-point Southern lead has been dwindled down to 3. Derek Jones and John Williams with you here tonight from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And you look at the anatomy of holding a double-digit lead, John. You see this so much in college basketball now. In the second half, the team that has that big lead sometimes just starts making a mistake here, a mistake there. For Southern, the mistakes have come in waves here in the second half.
Well, I talk about team inexperience. Teams that are new to each other, they can get a big lead but don't know how to hold it. And that comes with the whole transfer portal world. You're going to see more and more of that where people can't maintain leads because you know how to put your foot on the gas, right? But then the other team is going to have a run. All right, that doesn't mean you take your foot completely off the gas. That just means instead of going 70, you go 50 for a second. But the foot is still on the gas. At the end of the day, you're still able to maintain their punch, maintain their run, and then push your foot down again, and then get back into that lead that you're having. Right now, you're seeing Texas Southern go on a run, and Southern not being able to respond in any way possible.
Nunley dribbles the ball off his foot out of bounds, back over to Texas Southern.
Yeah, and you see it. Coach John Jones is pumped up after that turnover there. You can see Mortal letting them know. Coach Jones pounding the ball on the ground. He is pumped up.
A nightmarish run here for Southern. Turning is Posey, can't clean it up. Jacobs. And he was knocked to the floor, so a 1-and-1 at one point now will turn into a double bonus for Southern.
And if you're Southern, you don't want to be that we can live with that team, which means, yeah, we fouled you, we can live with that. You see what I mean? And so this is something, and Coach Johnson even talked about it, it's something that they're working on. It's something that they have addressed that they need to improve on if they want to be that championship team that we all know that they are capable of being.
So Jacobs able to knock down the first free throw to get his first point of the second half. He had 11 points in the first half, 70% free throw shooter on the season, and this is a key right here down the stretch. Free throw shooting for Southern, 66% on the season, 11th in the SWAC. Better tonight from the line. The lead at 5 for the Jaguars. Granger. Looked like he wanted a step back there. And we'll have a foul away from the ball here. And this will be against Southern. As we head to a timeout on the floor, 5-point lead for Southern. Principal and John, two of the top players in the nation this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and for good reason, on great teams, they're winning games. And so I look forward to seeing, once we get to the tournament play, Champ League, how things are going to play out in their respective conferences.
Of course, the SEC and Big 12, two hotly contested leagues. Posey can only take care of one there. The lead at 4. Pressure again. And that's a 10 count against Southern. They did not get it over in time. A 10-second violation. And the struggles of this Southern offense continuing. 13 turnovers in the second half for Kevin Johnson's team.
Yeah, I love how Coach John Jones was counting for the rep. Just letting you know, sir, like, that's 10.
Much better job by the Tigers of taking care of the rock here. 3 to shoot. Posey fading away from the rim. Farouk, but not in time. A shot clock violation against Texas Southern.
That's a possession I'm sure Texas Southern wish they could get back. Something a little bit more higher of a percentage, but Southern did a good job of putting on a zone that threw Texas Southern off of their offensive rhythm, and then they had to adjust on the fly. Not ready for it.
Southern's offense has only put together 1 field goal in well over 7.5 minutes. Jacobs to the rim and scores.
Talk about what Michael Jacobs brings to the table. I mean, 6'2", 200 pounds, use that weight well, gets to his spot, plays off 2, pivots, finishes over Mortal. He's got the harm and one. That's a tough finish, man.
No doubt. It's a stop in the drought for a moment. Jacobs finishes off the 3-point play after the 3rd foul picked up by Mortal. The lead pushed back out to 7. Texas Southern got it down to 3 after being down by 19. Granger's quick pass inside to Posey, and that's a turnover.
You can see that zone is really disrupting Texas Southern. Great move by Coach Johnson. Really throwing off Texas Southern as far as what they do offensively to get themselves into a rhythm.
Tesino prevents a near turnover. In trouble, and a foul coming up here against Texas Southern. And that'll be number 4 on Mortal.
Yeah, Tesino being strong with the ball. Mortal not being able to drop and rotate quicker down in that matchup zone.
That puts Jordan Johnson at the line, who has been a regular part of this starting lineup since right before Thanksgiving, as he misses the first free throw.
This is the time frame where the Jaguars could start to make some distance and put Texas Southern away. If they can start making those free throws.
Gets the second there. 1 out of 2. The lead goes up to 8. McLean. Now inside to Farouk. Farouk. Good touch pass to Posey, who is hit. And Posey, for his efforts, will receive 2 free throws.
Yeah, great no look there from Granger. I'm going to tell you, man, I mean, one thing that like a 1-1-3 type of matchup zone, we called it X when I was in college, but it just makes it extremely difficult for you to actually get something quick into the basket. And with time being against Texas Southern, Southern wants to slow it down at this point, making them have to think and do on the offensive end.
1 out of 2 for Posey, out of bounds, over to Southern. By the way, Brente Noel, who committed the foul on that last sequence, still in the game with 4. Just under 6 minutes left to go.
Question is, I wonder how long Coach Johnny Jones is going to ice Hunter before he can go out there.
7 seconds to shoot. And this will be against Texas Southern. So Posey picks up his 3rd. And it's a double bonus moving forward both ways to a 2-shot foul. Michael Jacobs steps to the line yet again. He's been a regular at the charity stripe in the second half. Misses the first.
And you see the dismay on Coach Johnson's face. He's sweating, man. And for good reason, man. I mean, this game has been high octane, especially at the start of the second half when Texas Southern started to make that run.
Everyone's expending a lot of energy, even the coaches. As Coach Johnson sweating this one out. His team up by 8. Farouk looking for help. Down to 7 to shoot. McLean tries to cook, launches a 3, grazes the rim, and it is out of bounds, back over to Texas Southern. The Jaguars could not maintain possession of the ball.
Yeah, you can definitely see how stifling that Southern matchup zone is, where
you can still see Texas Southern, and most of the time you got to figure out the zone, and that takes a little bit of time. Once you figure it out, then you can start to break it down, but by that point, you've wasted enough time where now you can go to something else.
McLean trying to get Johnson. Misses. Farouk right there. Can't get it to go. Ripped away by Tezeno. He lost the ball. McLean wants to throw it inside, and he does, but a whistle first. Another trip to the stripe for Texas Southern.
Yeah, I wonder if Coach Jones is icing Hunter until about that 3-minute mark, and then just say, let it loose, my man, go ahead and go.
That could be the case here, as Posey steps in. Taking his time. Gets the first. Texas Southern trying to forge a comeback here while putting up some rather grisly numbers from three. Only a couple of three-pointers tonight for a team that averages 7 made threes.
Well, I'll say that.
Second one ends up in.
Yeah, I'll say this. When you're sped up like Southern has sped you up, you have not been comfortable to get that three off like you're accustomed to.
Johnson has his long-distance try blocked. And Farouk with the hustle leads to a whistle. As Noel was right there in the mix, and he's gone.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out why Johnson pulled up for that one. Like, at this point, it's a time and score type of situation. Mortal did a good job of getting in recovery mode.
Coach Jones talked about his team closing out on shooters tonight. And they did so effectively there as Noel ends the night with no points after posting 10 and 7 against Prairie View A&M. Silenced.
Yeah. In order to get into a rhythm, you have to be on the floor, and he's been plagued with foul trouble, so he's had to go out, sit, then come in. Hasn't had many touches, has to go out again, sit, then come in, and so after a while, it's not foreign that he didn't score any points to get himself into an offensive rhythm.
Tezeno sits. Damari Jones back in. A try here for Kalen Farouk. Gets 1 out of 2. 58-53. Ambry. Ahead to Thomas. This pressure has given Southern fits in the second half. Jones. Shot clock under 10. Ambry feeds Jones. Power dribble inside and back over to Texas Southern.
You see the energy from Posey there. At this point, you've got to be able to handle your emotion. I know it's a basketball game. I know it's competitive. I know tensions are high. But when you are trying to win a game, you have to be able to control your emotions. You see, he took that hit from Jones. Yeah, it's the extra words of that. He might have been able to get away with the roar.
He did something else besides that.
There was a couple of expletives in there. And you see the coaches in there letting him have it, letting him know. You got to be a man in these situations. At some point, you don't have to say everything or anything when you are trying to win a game.
So Dwayne Posey receives a technical foul for the excessive trash talking.
Yeah, and these are life lessons for him. You know, these are those situations where you understand that it's a game, and I want to win this game more than I want to be able to jabber back and forth with someone.
And that's the thing. In a game like this close, you can't afford that at all.
Yeah, man. It's nothing like it, man. Like, honestly, like, oh, he's heading on out.
And Posey has dipped. Well, to be clear, he was not ejected.
No, he was just getting cooked.
Right.
He was getting held accountable.
He has now returned courtside.
Yeah. The assistant coaches went over there and said, nah, man, get over here and face this. Like, I'm telling you, man, like, there's so many times where games have been altered due to emotional plays like that.
1 out of 2 on the free throws. The lead's at 6.
Yeah, and it's good. It'll be better for him, man. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, like, it's a life lesson that down the road, you'll get put in that same situation and you'll know, keep your mouth closed on those situations.
Farouk, the feed to McClain. Gets inside, gets the jumper.
It was big. McClain has been big in the second half, but he's also been more aggressive, hunting his shots, looking for more opportunities to get himself in a rhythm. That first half, he struggled.
Southern's lead was once at 19. Texas Southern got it down to 3. It's at 4 now as we approach 3 minutes left. 5 seconds to shoot. Ambry trying to create space. Floater up. Misses the rim. Shot clock violation against the Jaguars. And that takes us to our final media stop of the second half. Southern holding on to a 4-point lead. John, one of the big storylines in this second half, pressure.
Absolutely. And Texas Southern has put that on Southern in this second half. Southern has 24 turnovers in this game. And that is crazy based off of what they're accustomed to doing to other teams. But Texas Southern has applied pressure consistently and given Southern a taste of their own medicine.
It's been a big part of the comeback here for Texas Southern. And they have put a stranglehold at times on this Southern offense. 24 turnovers committed by Southern in this game. 16 of them in the second half. And that's the most in any half this season for the Jaguars, who lead the SWAC with an 11-1 mark.
I understand why Coach Johnson is sweating. Go ahead and, zip that quarter zip down, halfway. Let it breathe a little bit, brother.
A combined 44 turnovers tonight.
Well, we knew what it was with this game. I mean, I didn't know what Coach Jones was going to do. I didn't know if he was going to try to slow it down a little bit. And, I feel like he just said, all right, you want to play like that? We can play that way. But the urgency that we have seen from Texas Southern to claw back in this game has been extremely impressive.
Kenny Hunter's back out on the floor for Texas Southern. He has 4 fouls. McClain launches, can't get it. Offensive rebound, but the follow no good. Southern controls.
That's a good look for McClain based off of what he's been able to do in today's game. But
Jacobs nearly went backcourt. Hops into the lane. Floater up and in.
And that's what makes him such a dynamic player. He puts so much pressure on the paint area with his driving ability. He's so shifty. He can get to his spots whenever he wants.
And a timeout called by Texas Southern with 2:09 left to go and trailing Southern by 6.
Jacobs warding off that secondary defender and Hunter, getting it back to the right side of his body and finishing. That's a big guard right there, man.
Jacobs came into the game as the team's leading scorer, averaging just under 10 points per game. He's over 10 now. He has 17 tonight before that bucket, now 19.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely over that 10-point mark now. And it's every point has been needed for Southern to give themselves just a small buffer for them to get this lead they need. And so he's been one of the guys that Texas Southern has not been able to smother on a consistent clip. Because of his ball handling ability, because of his strength and his ability to handle physicality, he can get downhill. He can get 2 feet in the paint. He can pivot and score.
1 timeout left each way. And a double bonus each way as we head to the finish line in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Thanks for joining us tonight. A matchup between the SWAC leaders in Southern and Texas Southern, who's in a 3rd-place tie entering play tonight. That shot off the backboard. Tezeno with the scramble for it, and a timeout called by Southern, which will be their final timeout.
Yeah, these are those winning time moments that you have to have, especially during the time frame where every possession matters. Every little bit matters. Tezeno is in that game for a reason, because if there's a loose ball, he wants to win it.
So the good news there for Southern is that they're able to maintain the possession. The bad news is that's their final timeout.
A lot of time on that clock, man. And there's going to be a lot more possessions out of this based on how both of these teams have been playing.
Both teams trying to figure out a way to get to the end of this game with a W in this second half. One of the big figures, obviously, for the side of Southern. We talked about him a moment ago, Michael Jacobs. He's been key, 19 points in this contest, and he's been a stabilizer here for Southern.
Yeah, it's been tough for Texas Southern to stay in front of. And a lot of that is because, like we talked about, his scoring ability, his ability to get to the middle of the floor. He welcomes contact. He welcomes physicality. He uses his body well. And you see, like, when he gets shifty, when he gets going, he gets to his spots, plays off 2 feet, pivots, finishes, absorbs that contact, and he knows how to get to the free throw line as well. And he's been a big key on all those facets for Southern.
It's nearly been a wire-to-wire effort out in front for Southern, and Jacobs, one of the reasons why, as his teammates head back out on the floor, up by 6. So again, no timeouts left for Southern. Embry gets it back from Thomas, trapped, and they get it ahead to Jacobs. Embry, pump fake, launches a 3, and misses everything. And that is deflating for this Southern team.
All right, like I said, I know that Southern has a different style of play. I don't know if that's what Coach Johnson drew up, but it's either 2s or we get to the line. One of those 2.
McClain against Nunley. Tough finish for McClain. Tezeno with a loose ball. The fans wanted to pass down the floor to Johnson, who was wide open, and now Hunter commits a foul, and he's done. So Hunter fouls out tonight, and he could never get in the rhythm, John.
No.
And that's a big piece of what they do. He's the team's leading rebounder, and he'll head out.
got to tip your hat to Coach Johnson. I mean, that was definitely a scheme. Like, to go at Kenny Hunter early in the game, early in the first half, early in the second half, get him into foul trouble because of his impact in the interior, whether it be with those second chance points or whether it be limiting Southern to just one possession by, if they shoot it, they miss it, he gets it, now they can get started in their offensive possession. He's big in that regard.
Jacobs good on the first. You take away the rebounding, and you also take away the top shot blocker for Texas Southern.
Yeah, shot blocker, shot alterer. Just his presence down there makes you second guess the drive. You know, when you're looking, I can go by this guy, but where's Kenny Hunter? Where is he?
Off the miss by Jacobs, and another foul as Thomas is moved away as the tempers flaring up yet again between these two teams.
Yeah, a little heat there.
And they are taking their time discussing this as Omar Qureshi may have committed a flagrant foul. So they will look and see if a flagrant one was committed in that sequence. So Qureshi coming down hard there.
That's why. You see that elbow right there? It kind of phased Qureshi for a second, which gave Thomas the angle to be able to get out there in front of him and actually get the offensive rebound. That doesn't happen if Qureshi doesn't get hit in the face by that initial elbow from Thomas. You see, boom, right in the temple, phases him. He looks at the ref. Thomas has the inside track in the rebounding department now.
Already a technical foul assessed earlier in this half to Dwayne Posey. And again, for it to be a flagrant one, needs to be excessive and or unnecessary, and also not a legitimate play on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to tell you, Qureshi knew what he was doing. At this point, he got hit, he saw red. At this point, he was just like, yeah, you about to feel it. So it's ultimately a flagrant one.
So Qureshi picks up the flagrant one, and that sends Thomas to the line. So it's free throws and the ball. Potentially a deadly combination at this stage of the game for Texas Southern. Thomas can only get 1 out of 2.
Yeah, but they get the possession.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. They get the basketball as well, and this has to be a frustrating half for Johnny Jones. His team got close, but you get the technical foul, and now a flagrant foul. Approaching 1 minute left to go.
Well, let's just talk about, you know, the elephant in the room. Like, we've had 2 possessions now where emotions have ran high for Texas Southern in moments where they needed to be calm, cool, and stoic. But they let those emotions run high and give additional possessions to the Southern Jaguars.
And that's big as Farouk picks up his 4th foul. This is one of the most experienced teams in terms of class in college basketball. There are no freshmen. There are no sophomores. You have a couple of holdovers from teams that have been successful here at Texas Southern.
Yeah.
It's not something you expect to see out of a team like this.
Yeah, but these types of things happen. The main thing that has to happen from this is that Texas Southern has to learn from it. These are those situations that you take as a lesson. You say, okay, I won't let that happen again. I saw my teammate do this. I know not to do that again. right? So you look at those types of things and you look at them as learning lessons for Texas Southern. I mean, we had situations like that when I played, and our coach would just zoom in on whatever the situation was, pause it, let him see the moment that you lost it for a second, and then let him, you know, rest in that. And you sleep on it, you figure out, like, all right, I know not to do that again.
And Nunley will send Texas Southern to the line here with 47.9 seconds left. And Nunley is getting an earful from Kevin Johnson, who was out near midcourt to express himself there. The floating coach's box.
Yeah, I mean, he's been moving. I'll tell you, I called the game for Kevin Johnson last year. He wasn't doing all that moving. This year, or this game, I need to, if he's got a Fitbit on or a watch that can count steps, calories, all that stuff, I know that he's up there.
Ahead to Johnson with 43 seconds left. And they'll try to take their time here. Ten to shoot for Ambry. Ambry tries a high arcing three. That's no good. Thomas offensive rebound. And the exclamation point on what will be a win for Southern. Granger tries to get on SportsCenter with that dunk, misses, and that will just about do it. Southern hangs on to defeat Texas Southern 66-57.
What a great strategy for Southern. Getting Kenny Hunter out of the game as early as possible, then starting to impose their will with the defensive pressure, creating turnovers, fast breaks, threes, you name it. They controlled the game for the majority of it. But we have to tip our hat off to Texas Southern in that second half, fighting back from 19 down, giving themselves a chance to be in striking distance, but not enough. Emotions quell, emotions get overrun. They end up losing that game. And so I'm looking forward to what the conference tournament will present, especially if these two teams see each other.
Southern takes another step towards a SWAC regular season title. They now have a 12-1 record in the SWAC and back-to-back seasons with at least 12 wins in league play. That will do it from Baton Rouge. For John Williams and our entire crew, I'm Derek Jones saying so long. The Jaguars win it 66-57. Good night, everybody.